Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is Saturday, 7th of January, 2017. How is everybody doing? I hope that wherever you are safe, you are warm, you are blessed. Some of you are waking up to the snow that is working its way up the northeast coastline of the United States. And what's funny is the main body of this storm is sitting right on top of Virginia Beach. Go figure. Go figure, right? But that's okay though, because see, you woke up today. So right there, that should tell you you're blessed. You have a reason for why you're awake. There's a reason why you woke up this morning. It's something that you have to bring in fruition. That's right. That's right. That's, you were awake and you have an obligation not only for yourself, but those who will have access to your life directly, spiritually, or socially. Why? Because there's only one you, y'all. I can't echo that because look in the mirror. You want to see beauty? Look in the mirror. God made you perfect. I ain't got to tell you that. But what I do have to tell you is I have to put some insight out there because see, I know I'm not the only one, and that's okay. I'm quite all right with it because when it comes to your state of being, your foundation, it is all about clarity. And you can't have clarity without understanding what makes it, what is the foundation of your perceptions, as well as what discredits or tries to taint your belief system. Because with those, that's what makes your movement, your motivation, your direction. Who am I talking to? Now, I just want you to know something, y'all. See, there's been a ruse going on in the community, y'all, where it is normal for us to take focus or give energy to what is being placed before us. Sometimes it comes in the form of entertainment. A lot of times it comes in disappointment. But ultimately, it is there to sway your perceptions. Because think of it. If I can sway or impact your perceptions, I can get you to respond. It's just a matter of time. That's why advertising works so much. That's why you don't even have to hear part of a jingle and you automatically know what it's from. All you have to do is see a certain color pattern and you automatically identify what it represents. So with that being said, why are we not, as a community, as a society, doing the same? Why is that? I remember there was a time where individuality as well as creativity was embraced. But as we step into a new year, these same principles are being threatened. It has now become to be seen and not heard. And how dare you step out of the fold? But the truth of the matter is, y'all, when you scrape all the fluff out, it falls down to the one thing. How bad do you want to see your life come into fruition? How much value do you have in your dreams and aspirations? So this is something that only you know, and as well as only you can make concessions on how that plays out. Because see, they have to have permission for you. That's right. They know that. That is why the tactic of constantly exposing you to the things you don't need is ultimately to get you to sway the opinion to embrace it. Who am I talking to? And I think it's kind of funny, y'all, because on one hand, we have countless people saying we want one world, we want one community, we want to come together. But the truth of the matter is that can't happen. You said, well, why is that, Gerald? Why would you say that we can't come together? I'm going to start small and I'm going to expand it and I'm going to leave it alone. I'll do it in reverse. Number one, you cannot have a community until you unify yourself. So therefore, that means you must be comfortable in your skin. How can I give you something I do not know what I possess? How can I give you what you need so it's measured? How can I? But see, we want to skip past that because we're too busy worrying about the value of man. Let me tell you something, y'all. Man will never be God, no matter how hard he tries to reach. You know, God gets tired, right? He does, right? You do know that, right? You don't actually think that, because you actually got people in this planet that think God's a chump. They mock him. They mock everything. Don't even see the simplistic process of the fact that he woke you up. He didn't have to wake you up. You could have been an afterthought. But we don't talk about that now, do we? We too busy glamorizing despair and chaos, but yet in the same breath, we want to say, no, we want truth. We want togetherness. How can you speak togetherness when you still don't know you? You still won't invest in you. That's why you're too busy trying to be like her. You're too busy trying to be like him instead of being yourself. So maybe that's the reason why your mindset is cloudy these days, because the truth of the matter is you're insecure. You're insecure with your footing because you still do not see yourself as the investment. Don't you realize how beautiful you are? But here's the sad part. You know, we can use the allegory of the haves and have-nots. It means nothing. It really doesn't mean anything, because guess what? The real reality is this. You ain't taking that with you. You ain't taking that with you. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't do what's required in this life, you will pay for it. That is the truth. So, let's turn the corner. let me back up. When I said that this world will never truly be unified, I meant that. I meant that. But if you're thinking it's based off of culture, creed, and economics, you're wrong. Let me tell you why the world will not be unified. Because what's going on is there is a spiritual divide. Bottom line. That's why you have the haves and the have-nots. You could also say the believers compared to the non-believers. That's why when you choose to live of the world, you inherit the most pain. Because when you place God first in everything you do, guess what? He takes care of your light work. He allows his angels to oversee your life. Now, that doesn't give you a pass for bad behavior because you will reap what you sow. Let me make that clear. You will reap what you sow. But the reason that there's nothing wasted because there is a lesson that is required that you must master so the next blessing can be revealed to you. Another reason why we as a society cannot come together is the fact that we refuse to invest in the person in the mirror looking back. We spend so much time romanticizing other cultures. It's like, yes, we are the eclectic society. Yes, we are. We take from this and take from that and borrow from this and we claim that. We do that all the time. And yes, I understand. Um, I understand that there's gonna be somebody gonna say, "Well, Gerald, look at our history. Look at what we've gone through." Now, let me explain something to you. If you wanted to seriously talk about history, you want to claim history. You want to. Now, the short list is this. Yes, man existed in the. Everything began in the motherland. Can't dispute that. That's why there's only 5 shades of brown on this planet, y'all. 5. There's no such thing as a white man. There's no such thing as a black man. Those are all descriptive words. So if you opened your mind, you could see it for yourself. There's no such thing as a white man. You understand that, right? A white, that does not exist. That does not exist. Why do we use it? Because it was a tool. It was a tool given in response because they thought that our rationale could not understand, or the person that was conveying it, their level of articulation was limited. Come on now. But if you're getting caught up on just that, you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point. It's deeper. Because let me tell you something. You have those people that know your story, but you don't know your story directly. You won't connect the dots. How can I give you 40 acres and a mule when you won't even put your feet down on the ground that it stands above? How can I? You'll squander it. But here's something a little deeper, y'all. Do you realize one of the greatest treasures to humanity is being robbed every day. People don't see the value of it, and they wonder why we are where we are. That's your family history. The importance of your last name. You know your last name means something. You do know that, right? So does your first name. Did you know that? But we're eclectic people. We take from here, we take from there, we take from there, but we don't see what we already have. You know that beautiful melanin that you got? And I know some people may be feeling a certain kind of way because they're saying, well, Gerald, that kind of disfranchises me, but because I'm biracial, still got melanin in your skin. Your melanin, you see your melanin, but it's infused in your DNA. That makes it blessed. We used to have this joke in the military. It really wasn't a joke, but it was something I came up with, and I was like, as long as there is a brother, wherever he drops his boots, you'll find a baby. Because I used to see so many uh, biracial children, and I knew I could just look at them, and I'm like, that's somebody's family member over here, but their roots are over there. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about them one night stands, and they don't understand why that seed grows up bent. Think you ain't gonna pay for that? Yes, you are. But if you go deeper, y'all, you'll come to accept and understand that that Native American you be making funny jokes about, be like, you looking, oh, all they do is drink, and their face and their jawbones are high, their nose is the way they are. Don't you realize that's part of your lineage? Did you know? They always talk about the transatlantic slave trade, right? It was first established by Native Americans, right? The Virgin Islands, the Indies. Guess who was part of the colonization process? That's right. hmm But I'm saying this because of one fact. Goes back to what I said earlier. As long as there's a skin of melanin on a soil, no matter where they go, there'll be a baby there. An extension of them. How do you think? How do you think? That's why when you look at when you look at South America, and you look at the people, what do they do? What do they do? They look like you, don't they? They got your structures, don't they? Is that just by chance? Or is that something omitted? Just look at the artifacts. You look at the artifacts, what do they look like? Hmm? Why? And it's right in front of your face because, yeah, we are the original people. Because we're all connected. But some people don't want to believe that. Just like, for example, I'm just using this as an example. You'll say, well, I'm Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican's not a race. I'm from San Juan. Your roots may be from there. Your behavior is of that culture, but that's not a race. 5 shades of brown, y'all. I'm just saying. And it's all environmental because I don't care. You can be very heavy melanated, and I could take a person from the tropics, a tropical region, and put them in a region that has the opposite of the climate, and guess what's going to happen? The pigment lightens up. So now we're talking hereditary because of the exposure of the genes. Now imagine if you bear a child in that, and that is the norm of the community. It will preserve itself. I'm saying this for a reason, but I'm going to get off of it. Because the lightest melanin you will ever come to see is the albino. So why do we constantly say there's a white guy when the albino, a person of albino pigment, which is melanin, which is your melanin that is pretty much a recessive gene, which over hereditary, sometimes it jumps, sometimes it doesn't. I ain't got to tell you. Do the research yourself. How is it that you have albinos in the most tropic places? Yes, even on the continent of the motherland herself. That's why you're seeing. That's why you're seeing the story broke, and people were acting like it was an oddity. Had a little boy in Uganda, have very beautiful complected little boy, very rich, but his eyes were sky blue. Explain that. Explain that. Because that ain't not, that's a reminder for the foolish people. Because man will never be God. And nobody can live your life. So if you're going through some stuff right now, it's to remind you that you need to reset, remove, and return back from whence you came. That's the real you. But see, for some, they have a loyalty to their pain. They have a loyalty to that lie. They'll hold that lie, even though it's that lie that's killing you, robbing you of your life. How can you claim a life that ain't yours? That's why when you hear people say, well, imitation's flattery. No, it's not. That's somebody that's in denial, not seeing their worth. That's what it is, y'all. But we don't speak on that. So how can we have a community? How can we have unity when you won't even invest in the first person? That's you. The person looking in the mirror. The person that's going to step out your door. Because that world is going to be, it doesn't have any impact on you until you walk out into it. Who am I talking to? So that makes me go back to what I said before. Nobody can make you do anything unless you sign off on it. That means you got to be in the mix. That means you got to make a decision. If you're tired of struggling, why won't you acknowledge what the problem is? Make a sound decision to get up out of there. Maybe it's okay to say no. People are so afraid of the word no because they think when you hear the word no means forever. No, the word no means under review. If it's not of your standards, why do you accept it? I'm gonna tell you why, because of pride. Meanwhile, you're serving an emotional prison sentence in a place that you should have never been. But then the only time that you hear your voice is when you flick out. That's why you see those people in Wally World acting up. Acting up for what? Because they feel unsafe. They feel unappreciated. So they got to take the next step. So does it make sense why you have some people who are either they choose not to invest or they're more fearful to know the truth, they will easily come up with an excuse and say that's why they act that way. So if they say that, why can't we acknowledge what Jesus said when he was on that cross and said, Lord, they know not what they do? Because if they knew exactly what they were doing, then they would not complain. You ever thought about that? But that's truth, right? We don't want truth. We just want to suffer in silence. We want to have a scapegoat. And guess what? Who's winning? People in the cheap seats. Because you're giving validation every time you choose not to love yourself. They're laughing at you. Because at the end of the day, they know you're going to play your position because you're afraid to fly. That's not your story. It never was. That's why it don't fit. I'm saying this because I care. I'm saying this because I love you. And I'm saying this because you deserve to be happy. See, I don't have an agenda, but I will pray that you see it. I pray that you'll claim your life back because I can't do your work. I got to do mine. I got to do mine, y'all. I know the value of my life. And I know that no one's promised the next 5 minutes. See, I'm putting this out for a reason, and I'm not trying to speak this into existence. This is why y'all snuggling. They have to deal with this blizzard that's going on right now. See, Gerald got to go out in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gerald got to go out in it. I got to brave it. I got to brave whatever's out there. But see, I'm going to make sure that I stay prayed up. I know my angels are going to be there with me. And I know I have peace of mind, but I'm not going to be stuck on stupid because common sense is very important. Now, I made a comment last week. Um, and I have been a strong proponent of women seeing their true essence and when it comes to your physicality because you're being exploited and this exploitation has been going on for the last 65 years. They have convinced you through illustrations of what the standard is, but there is no standard when it comes to your life. That's why when you're at peace, your skin is healthy and you have a glow, you're at peace. Everything responds, your hair is vibrant, so beautiful. But we've allowed people to not only hijack your finances, but to also hijack your self-esteem. And I get it too, because what it boils down to is a lot of people are still not in tune with their spirituality. I understand that. I understand that fully because there's been a whole lot of tomfoolery in in regards to the illustration of what's been put out there. But you do understand that that's deliberately done so that you will turn away with your own doings. And see, that's what the devil wants. The devil wants you to not believe in him. He wants you to embrace man. So what's going on now? And that's why I mentioned yesterday. A lot of people think that when when the when Satan takes a physical form, when he chooses to step out of the shadow, because he will, he's already done it. But when he does so, y'all think that they're gonna be branding people's hands and their foreheads, and and they're gonna, it's gonna get real. Well, I don't believe that's going to occur. I really believe that the mark of the beast is actually your mindset. And I think that through time, the conditioning of what we are willing to accept, condone, as well as protect is the tools that they're using against you. That's why God said there are going to be a lot of people not knowing, not knowing this, that would have been deceived by default. But nobody talks about that. Why? Because it's too controversial. We're talking about your life, y'all. We're talking about your life. Figuratively, you realize how much blood runs every day in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you. Blood runs. That's somebody's father, somebody's mother, someone's auntie, someone's daughter, someone's grandparent, someone's son. Because you can't be alive without that blood. Why don't we see that? Now let's throw this in there and I'm gonna get off of it. You do also understand there are people who look just like you that don't want you here. Oh yeah, you don't believe me? There are people that actually believe that the world's overcrowded and this helps with population control. And so if your health doesn't get it, your behavior will. And that just helps thin out the world. So but let's be honest. All these guns, it's so funny because you got one hand, you say, well, we need to just take all the guns off the street. What's the point on taking every gun off the street if you don't have education? Hmm? That's what we need. That's what society needs. We need parents to be parents. That's what we need. But how can a parent be a parent if the parent don't know them? Because every day, there's a young boy, a young girl, placed with the responsibility of parent. How can you be a parent when you don't even know what adulthood is? But we don't talk about that. It just comes with the territory. No, it don't. No, it don't. No, it don't. Which I find it kind of ironic, y'all, because when the story hits your news, there's always a shooting these days. Every day, a shooting. Yeah, we can sit up here and say, well, that was just a byproduct of the environment. Yeah, what's in the environment? Do we clap back on the media and what's put out in the media? How about them video games? What about that? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the imagery that's put out there subliminally in our movies, do we? No, we don't. But yeah, we're too busy talking about fake news. Fake news is only fake news if you believe it's true. But if you don't have connection with your discernment, how are you going to know the difference between what is real compared to what is fake when you don't even know you? Who am I talking to? I woke up this morning because I got this feeling somebody's been crying in the night. Been crying. They've been crying for a long time. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right because God sees all, knows all. That's why He's a jealous but loving God. He don't waste the opportunity. That's why the devil's work is never done, because he tries to steal it. So You still believe you don't matter. But I think it's kind of ironic, y'all, because what y'all don't realize is if you had to say there was a war, I would say there's been a consistent battle because there's been a battle for your mind. There's been a battle for your spiritual beliefs too. hmm And for you, let me make this publicly known. Shackle breakers, believers, those who are doing like this, you don't know if you should come or go because you don't know if that's a temptation or that's meant. I'll say this to you. The moment that you have the courage to open that heart up, it'll speak for you. The moment that you decide to have that conversation with him, he will show you by way of protection. See, a lot of y'all don't realize, but y'all think that y'all being punished right now because you don't have what you want. But if you would only ground your feet, if you would only be still, you'll come to understand you don't have what you want because what you really need is far better than what you want. And it will be given after the work is done. You over there stressing over her. She shouldn't have never she should have never been in your life to begin with because she doesn't value hers. And she doesn't see the merry-go-round of pain through the Tom, Dicks, and Harrys. Because she's only going off of what she's been shown through her lineage. We are what we attract, but we embrace what we're taught. Who am I talking to? So you can continue to stay the course, just like them. Oh, they love the fact that when they get a victory. But what's a victory if the battle ain't won? They do all that because they need somebody to validate their pain too. That's why they turn up instead of turn away. But that's okay. That's okay. Because in the intended moment, intended time, all truth will be revealed. It will be so blinding you cannot turn away from it because you will be compelled to bear witness. Maybe that's the reason, and maybe that's the divine time that you'll actually see the value of your tears. Until you do, the suffrage will continue. But I'll pray for you nonetheless. I'll pray for you nonetheless. So, yes, for those who place God first in everything you do, just know this. It's going to get real because you are the target. Do not be afraid when the things that you thought were solidified, your bonds, your relationships, and maybe your assets are threatened. That's just to get you to comply. Just be still. Place God first in everything you do. Take note to what is being shown and stay prayed up. That's all you're required to do. Because if you do that, you are being authentic with yourself. And guess what? All those who are not, they're going to be exposed to you. They have to. Now, the kicker is that free will. You're going to have to decide if you're willing to embrace that choice. But just know, if it's not blessed, it will never, ever pass the test. And you'll know it because your denial will be the first thing that will come up to convince you otherwise. Continue to speak your truth, y'all. Continue to love yourself. Continue to let God show you your real life. You know, the one that's blessed because you're worth it. Be safe. If you're out there this weekend, listen, y'all, if you ain't got to be out there on them roads, you got to leave, use it. That's what it's for. Don't put yourself out risk. You know, don't. You have those people that truly love you, that want to see you. How about the people that you have yet to know? Mhm. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? You got people behind that veil, that spiritual veil, that are going to come into your life in the intended time after you have done what's needed to champion your happiness. You're worth it, y'all. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern my. It's funny though, because everybody got so much to say, but you'll never hear them talk about their spirituality. How can you how can you build a nation if God ain't in front of it? You can't, because that's hell. Be blessed.